Hello everyone, it's Abby here again. Welcome back to my channel. Before we get into today's tutorial, I just want to take a moment to say a very big thank you to my amazing subscribers. I recently hit 50 subscribers and I'm truly grateful for every single one of you. Your support, views, likes and encouragement means a lot to me. If you're new here or intending to subscribe, you're welcome. Thank you for being part of this growing community. Now let's get into today's tutorial. So in today's tutorial, we'll be learning how to make this Bubu top with Asoke neckline. I have here a strip of this Asoke fabric. I will not be making use of all of it, just a little for the neckline. And here I have 3.5 yards of this Adire fabric. So guys, I have my fabric folded into 4. I'll be cutting the front and back pieces together, and also note that the shoulder too will be a cut together. That means there will be no shoulder seam. So to start with the shoulder line here, I'm going to be marking out the full length of this gown, which is 57.5 inches, and that will aid me in determining the hemline of this gown. I'll be marking that for this side and the other side of the fabric. I'll then get a rule and rule a straight line across that mark, and then add 3 inches for the fold at the hemline. So for my client's measurement, her shoulder is 16 inch, divided by 2 is 8. So I'm going to mark out 8 from the center front here. And then for the sleeves is 14.5 inches plus 1 inch hemming allowance, which is 15.5. So I'm going to just mark that out, starting from the shoulder point to the sleeve width. You can make your own sleeve length longer or shorter according to your taste, okay? So I have 8 inches and 15.5. 8 inches for the shoulder and the sleeve length 15.5. So for the neck depth at the back, I'll be marking out 1 inch. For the front is 9.5 is just fine. And the neck width is 3.5 inch. Next, I'm going to draw the curve of the neckline. So I have this here. For the front neckline, I'll be going in by 1 inch. So I'll get my curve and draw a slant line to meet this point. Next, I'll be making use of the hip measurement to determine the wideness of this dress. So for the hip, I have 58 divided by 4 is 14.5 plus 4 inches, because this is a bubu dress, so we want it free. So 14.5 plus 4 inch is 18.5. So I'm going to just draw 18.5 across. Next, for the sleeve width, I'll be marking out 11 inches for the width of the sleeve. This is completely optional. You can make yours 9, 10 inches according to your choice, but I'll be making mine 11 inches as you can see here. So I will then get a ruler and draw a straight line across to get that line. So from the sleeve length at the shoulder line, I'm going to get my pattern master and square it down to the sleeve width measurement. Then I'll mark out 2 inches and 2.5 like you see me do here, and then get my curve to determine that you don't want to sew a sharp point at that end. You just make a curve like you see me do so, and I will then get my scissors to cut along these lines. So I'll be cutting the back of this dress. So to cut the front of the dress, you need to open up this. I'll be opening this up like so. Please do well to separate the front and the back panels to avoid cutting the front design on the back panel. The next thing you want to do now is to measure around the neckline. So I have my fabric folded. So from the center back to the center front where I have that 1 inch mark, I will measure out what I have. So for me here, I have 14.5 inches. I will add extra allowance of 1.5 inch. You can make yours 2 to 3 inches. That's fine. So I'm going to just cut that out on my Asoke fabric. So like I mentioned earlier, I measured out 14.5 inches for the neckline plus 1.5 inch allowance. Sum this up and it will be 16 inches. So note that this fabric was folded. So I'm going to multiply 16 by 2 to get 32 inches. And I'm just going to measure that out on the Asoke fabric. So guys, please note that my Asoke here is folded and I'm measuring out 2.5 inches to get my collar height. You can decide not to cut the Asoke fabric, but note that this will affect the collar height by making it high. If you want it high, you can leave it like that. But if you want it moderate, when drafting out your neck width, measure out 4 inches to 4.5 inches. Like I did for the other half, I'll measure out same ½ inch. So I'll measure out ½ inch on this area. ½ inch somewhere around. I'll measure ½ inch somewhere around here. And then so guys, on the front neckline, like you see me do here, measure out ½ inch away from that front neck part. The essence of this is to get the point where we will be making a notch after joining the collar to the neckline. Next, I'll take my pins and pin the Asoke in place to the neckline. So after doing that, I will now head over to my sewing machine and sew this together. So right now I'm attaching the Asoke collar to the main fabric on a 0.5 inch seam allowance, and I'll be starting and ending at the point where the notch will be made. Next, I'll get my scissors and notch at that corner where my seam is starting. Please do not cut through the seam, just notch very close to the seam. This is to enable us turn in the collar to the wrong side after this. Notice how I took this little part here and folded it in. I'll take my pins and secure it down. You can use your iron to do so. This will enable me turn this inward without any obstructions from that. So guys, I'm done sewing the Asoke collar, and I've also gone ahead to serge around the rough edges. Next, what I'll be doing now is to turn this inward to the wrong side, and this was possible after I made that notch as mentioned earlier. So I'll get the pin and pin this part down like so, and then take the Asoke and tuck it into the wrong side. So guys, this is the final look for this for now, but this design has a patchwork around here with the same Asoke. So I'll be cutting that out on the table, attaching it, and show you how it's going to be like. So guys, I have cut two of these pieces. So what I cut is 11 inch of length, 11 inch for two of them. So I will go over to my sewing machine now and join this way. I'm going to join it just the same way you join your gilly and come back. For the placing of this, make sure everywhere here is properly relaxed, and what I'll be doing now is to fold this by half of an inch. So I'm just going to fold here by half of an inch in place. Next, to give this bottom area a style, I'm going to go in at the corner by 2.5 inch on both sides. So next, what I'll be doing now is to head over to my sewing machine and sew a top stitch around this neckline and on the patchwork. So guys, as per my client's request, I'm going to be drafting out a pocket for this dress. And this is me here marking out 7 inch for the pocket opening, and now I will place my palm on the pocket to get the actual size of what the pocket will look like. So I'll just draw the curve, make a rough sketch of the curve, and then take my scissors to cut this out. Now we are going to be needing 4 pieces of this pocket to attach on the fabric, so be sure to fold your fabric into 4. To attach the pocket, I'm going to be measuring 1 inch away from the waistline. That is, her waistline is 19 inch, and I'm going to measure 20 inch and notch this part right here, and then attach the pocket for the front piece and the back piece. So finally, I've gone ahead to hem the sleeve by 1 inch, as you can see here, And after that, I also went ahead to join the pockets at the side seams and then join the side seams and finally hemmed the bottom of the dress.
Thank you so much for watching. If you find this video helpful, please do like, share and subscribe to my channel. I'll see you on the next tutorial. Bye.